anyone, anyone beat Djokovic twice in a week? Can Sinner play the match of his life twice in 1 week? Is there any debate whatsoever now on who is the GOAT? All these questions were being raised before the final of the Nitto ATP World Tour Finals. And the answer to every question and probably more is a resounding no. As Djokovic just conquered his seventh World Tour final title. Yes, seventh. What do you have to say, Adish?
Well, first of all, I think your question itself is wrong. The question is not whether people can beat him twice in a week. People, anybody out there. The question is whether you can defeat Djokovic in a knockout match. ATP World Tour Finals has an interesting format where initially there is a round robin stage and then the top two go to the semifinals.
Yeah.
So it was very obvious right from the beginning that Djokovic is going to only focus on the semis and the finals, and he has a sort of irritating habit of doing things just right, and that is
Yeah.
exactly what he did. He just got through to the semifinals, although as expected nothing really happened, and Alcaraz topped the group in the other half, whereas Djokovic
Yeah.
came second in his group. So we did get to witness the most expected semifinal. It was supposed to be the other way around. Djokovic was supposed to top his group, whereas I personally believe that Medvedev could have topped his group, but it went the other way around. But anyway, coming back to your question, you know, a knockout match is entirely different, and Djokovic has something different going on for him when he's playing a match where if he loses, he's out of the tournament. I think that
Yeah.
is his most motivating
Both
factor.
in straight sets. Very, very easy.
Yeah. Well, I was going to come back to that. But about the seventh World Tour finals, now what more can we say? He has broken pretty much every record there is to break. He has now surpassed Federer in the most number of ATP World Tour finals. He had equaled his record, and now he has passed him. He has had a terrific year. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt about it. I don't think anybody would have really
Yeah.
imagined Djokovic to have this kind of a year at 36. Of course, uh, a lot of our predictions have come true. So that
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
something,
I
yeah,
was
a pat
about to
in the back
say,
for both of us. Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say that you predicted seventh, right? Just before, I mean, as a preview, the episode we did.
Yeah.
And seventh, I mean, seventh is my the same number which became dear to me when I started following David Beckham. The same David Beckham who was in India recently to watch the World Cup of cricket.
Yeah.
The same World Cup where India lost,
Yeah.
and we are reeling from that heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think moving on, maybe the first topic. Uh, so after watching maybe the same guys play each other again and again and again, was this really different than what the script was throughout the year?
For me, the most disappointing thing was that the way Djokovic absolutely demolished both Alcaraz and Sinner in the semis and the finals. I was obviously expecting this to happen. Djokovic has too many tricks up his sleeve. I had said the same thing during French Open this year, that
Yeah.
it's not plain tennis when you're playing with him. He knows too many things. He plays with you, he plays with tennis, he plays with the crowd. So it's just not possible for a normal guy to get the better of him in a
Yeah. Yeah.
cutthroat match. But the way he literally brushed aside these two guys, the two of the most promising young newcomers, who it is said that Alcaraz, Sinner, and Rune are the next big three. I hope you have heard about this. So if he defeated Rune as well, but that was a group stage match. Then
Yeah.
he defeated Sinner. Sorry, he defeated Alcaraz in straight sets. He defeated Sinner in straight sets. So the way he played both these matches, the way he defeated these two guys, honestly, I'm not surprised, but a little disappointed, because if this continues to happen, then we don't know how much long the king is going to continue ruling. We
There is no
may,
prince
yeah,
waiting to take his crown.
we may never see him getting dethroned anytime soon.
Okay, moving on to my second point today. What about the semis, right? Initially, we thought that obviously Alcaraz has had a bad season. He also lost to Zverev. And how will the semifinal turn out? Or the draw of the semis, I should say. Uh, Turned out that top four, the best players, were in the semis.
Yeah,
Obviously, the combinations were a bit of mismatch.
yeah. But the top four, as it should be, were
Yeah.
in the semifinals. And honestly, for me, I was not very surprised with the outcome of the match. It's exactly what
Yeah.
we were expecting Djokovic to, win the match in a fairly certain manner. At
Yeah.
no point would anybody think that Alcaraz will take it. So
Especially
I'm
he
not.
had such a, I mean, not so good season, especially the indoor hard, but managed to get to semis itself. Maybe was a comeback in some way.
Yeah, comeback of sorts. He,
Yeah.
after losing the first match, he won the next two, especially defeating Medvedev in straight sets. I think that must be a big confidence boost for him. But he was
Yeah.
never going to get through Djokovic. And again, as you said, indoor hard. So you know, it's really difficult to beat Djokovic on indoor hard.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any surprises there, especially when it came to Alcaraz Djokovic match. The scoreline was a little. It looks a little bad, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I was about to say. That the scoreline looks bad, but it was not so straightforward. I mean,
right.
it
Yeah,
never is because
yeah.
obviously you miss a couple of points, the advantage is to Alcaraz, and then he can turn on the screws. Right? It's not that easy as what looks on the score sheet.
Yeah, so it was not that straightforward, but Djokovic was in control from the word go. So
Yeah,
yeah, there is
yeah.
no doubt about that.
And I think the entire season has kind of followed the same script. I mean, there was never a big surprise that I quite remember. So the top four getting through semis is great.
Yeah,
Uh, I think let's talk about the round robin. As you mentioned, if Tsitsipas follows his trend of performances, he
yeah,
will go out before the semis,
yeah.
and he
He went
certainly did
he
that.
went out a little too early, but
Yeah, even without finishing the round robins.
yeah,
But I think Hurkacz got a chance or
yeah,
got a look in. But I think he was just there as a participant. He never had a chance to make the semis. So I think one question for the audience here: if Hurkacz had defeated Djokovic in straight sets, and if Sinner had defeated Rune in straight sets, then it meant that Hurkacz, Djokovic, and Rune, all the three had one match under wins, and probably Hurkacz had a better net run rate, if we
yeah.
want to call
Because
it
he,
like
he
that.
didn't lose any.
Yeah, and again head to heads, right?
Yeah.
So why Hurkacz was not a competitor for semis? If somebody can answer that, I think we would love to hear that in the comments. Moving on to the round robins, Adish, who do you think we saw on the camera most apart from the eight players?
Well, yeah, I know you want to say Becker, and yeah, we did see a lot of him. Maybe because he's Runa's coach, maybe because he's
Yeah,
Djokovic's ex-coach, who knows? Or maybe because he's just a great player, great
yeah,
former
yeah.
player. Yeah,
I think a lot of focus on Boris Becker. I think another quick thing I wanted to touch upon was how Rune started. Or, I mean, Becker impact is not immediate or shouldn't be an assumption. But the first match, first point, Rune hits a very, very powerful backhand. And I think anybody who has played tennis, if you get that out of the way in point number one and maybe the initial couple of points, you feel so confident and
yeah,
so relieved. And then obviously you perform that throughout the match, which we saw. So that was
yeah.
fantastic to see.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
the
yeah.
high
So much
profile start.
aggression from point one, I think. And you said that you can't see an immediate impact, but we have seen a lot of change in Runa's game in
Yeah.
maybe what 3-4 weeks now. I'm not entirely sure,
Mm,
but he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
been around for a couple of weeks now, and we have immediately seen a lot of change, a lot of positivity, a lot of aggression. So yeah, I guess if this continues, then we'll really have to watch out for Runa in 2024.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, as I mentioned, we did not see surprises overall, but Alcaraz quickly losing to Zverev was a surprise. Eventually, I thought he was starting to get in beast mode, but he never quite reached there. Before that, it was time to play against Djokovic.
Yes.
But yeah, any other maybe thing that you noticed around round robins?
Well, I'm not entirely sure about this, and it could be a really serious allegation. But I really want to know if Medvedev lost to Alcaraz in
On
straight sets
purpose.
on
Ah,
purpose because
yeah.
Alcaraz had to win the match no matter what.
Yeah.
Medvedev was already through to the semifinals. If Medvedev had lost to Alcaraz in straight sets only, then he would face
Hmm.
Sinner. Otherwise, nobody knew who he would face. So Medvedev, before going into the match, knew that if he lost in straight sets, he would not be playing Djokovic. Now, we really don't know if anything like that happened, but yeah,
No,
it
I
just
think
turned out the
yeah.
same way. So, it did make me wonder. And Medvedev is fairly comfortable on this surface. He loves this surface. So,
Hmm.
he's a former
Yeah.
winner, if I may say so. So, that was a little
Yeah.
surprising for me.
But I
Actually,
think we all saw the match, so looked like that the points were going till the end. It was aggressive from both ends, but yeah, I mean it's difficult to really conclude. But we can obviously talk about conspiracy theories all day long.
yeah. No, the only reason why I thought about it, because if I was in Medvedev's place, I would have done the same thing, avoiding Djokovic in the semifinals.
That-
That
that's
would have been my
that's
only goal.
no, that's the difference between people who have played at some level and people who have played at ATP. So cool. That's a wrap for this episode. But we'll be coming up with another episode where we review the entire season, which we enjoyed watching so much with you all. Thanks so much for joining and see you in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye bye.